and welcome to another episode of Nerd Age. This is a show where we talk about everything nerdy. My name is Mick, and with me as always are my co-hosts, Josh.
What's up?
Corey.
Hello.
And Jonah.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw indeed. Welcome to the show, guys. If you like what you see here, if you like what we talk about, go and subscribe to the show, share it with your friends, and like the video. Big thumbs up. Anyway, on today's episode, we're going to just talk about basically all of Mando. Sorry, it's really emotional. All Mando season 3. It just wrapped last week, so we're basically just going to be spoiling the whole thing. So,
season finale.
If you haven't watched it, there's your warning. So,
Let's dive in.
yeah,
Dive.
So, go ahead. Go ahead. Hey, you're eager beaver over there.
I was just going to say, when you guys first saw the title, were you guys, The Return? Is Luke coming back? I was like, who's returning? Who's coming back?
Okay.
Han Solo's coming back.
So dumb.
Ezra's coming back.
Full disclosure. Yeah, what always happens here is I set myself
Big
up
time.
with huge expectations for, hey, Luke's coming back. Han's going to show up in the Millennium Falcon. Chewie's hanging with his crossbow. It's going to be awesome. Paz Vizsla's going to come back from the dead, be a Force ghost.
Man.
Whatever the case may be. And none of that happened.
it could have happened off screen.
So,
Maybe.
Never know.
I liked it. I still liked the episode. But here's just full disclosure right up at the beginning. I feel like for a season finale, it fell a little short for me. Part of that is, like I said, me building myself up expectations.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, because when you have Luke show up in a season finale in season 2, it's kind of like, okay, like they're saving the best for last. Like and none of that really happened. There were cool moments, but I just felt it was kind of like a little lackluster for me.
What do you mean, bro? Yoda's son just wrecked. What do you mean, dude? Come on, dude. Think about it. You're going to have a reveal later down 5 years down the road. You're like, that was such a sick season finale.
Yaddle and Yoda's baby.
Yes.
Maybe.
I'm telling you, bro.
I just think for
Baby
me, it was like
Yoda.
there were cool things that happened, but when it was done, I was like, oh. And part of it, too, is I felt like it was really quick. 38-minute runtime.
That's fair. That's fair.
Even like with the previously and the credits, it ends up being like a what? 28,
The previously.
like a 34
Recap,
minutes.
yeah.
So it did feel really short to me. So yeah, I mean, I liked it, but it's not. I think both season finales of season 1 and season 2 were better than this one.
Yeah, I would say overall, especially with hindsight now, with everything that we saw with Grogu and Luke in the Book of Boba Fett, I think that this season probably would have benefited from having that last a little bit longer, the separation, seeing Din on his own, like seeing how he's dealing with that instead of basically doing a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tend to agree with what you're saying. I think overall the season was a little, I don't know, a little boring's not the right word, but like just a little lackluster. Like you were saying, the last season ended on such a high. It was really hard to top that, I think. And unfortunately, I think it showed a little bit, but there were still things I enjoyed about this last season in particular. And, this last episode and the whole season altogether. But yeah, overall, I wasn't too impressed with that.
What were your guys' overall highlights for this episode, Josh, if you have any highlights?
Yeah, I'm not a downer like these other two.
I just
Well, I was really disappointed.
no, I never said it. I was like, there was things I said I liked
A bunch
it.
of Debbie
That I
Downers.
enjoyed it.
Wow.
So what were some of your highlights?
I thought the whole sequence with him bringing the ship down onto the base was really cool.
That was cool.
I think what this show has really done well this season is like all of the aerial space battles have been really cool.
Yeah.
All of the jetpack stuff has been really cool. So seeing
Yeah, the Mando's coming
the
in.
Mandos coming in and then like Bo-Katan just like destroying a bunch of them with the Darksaber
Yeah.
and then the armor hitting, coming at him and hitting him with the hammer was really cool. I really like how they do like that.
Not a spy, by the way.
Yeah.
No spies.
Nobody.
No spies.
We could probably hit it that the spies were the group that went down.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So there were spies, just not the ones
Not
we
the ones
thought.
we were expecting.
Axe wolves, use. Wait till next season. It's gonna.
Yeah.
He's like,
He's like,
actually,
remember episode 7, the spies?
was
me.
That's
him.
me.
It's I'm him.
But yeah, I think all the action was really cool, and then
Yeah.
seeing even just from the get go that Mando talking to Grogu and being like, "We got to take him out, buddy. You with me?" And him being like nodding his head. I was like,
Yeah.
"That's awesome!" Like getting them to be like, instead of having them separated or whatever, and like, "Oh, I have to go save Grogu now." Like them getting to the point where they're like, "Hey, we're both in this together. Let's go on a mission." Basically, I thought that was really cool, and I think it just set up the episode well. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I do agree. It probably suffers from how great the season finale for season 2 was. Like that's just such a high peak. And so I think I was coming in with the same expectation of like, what's going to happen? Something crazy is going to happen.
I told you guys nothing. I was the one who said it's just them. They're going to do it. And that's what happened.
well, Corey, you suck. Shame on you.
I didn't write it. I just
You just
Called
predicted
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Mandos coming in was really cool. There were a lot of things I really liked.
like what?
Well, like the Mandos coming in with the Darksaber. I thought the fight with Moff Gideon and Bo-Katan and Din and the Praetorian Guards and all that was cool. I like the shot where they all kind of do their slide. You know, Grogu slides on his knee,
Yeah,
and
they
then,
learned it from his
and then
dad,
Mando
bro.
does that, and then
dope.
the shot where he protects them. That was really cool. So overall, like I enjoyed it, and I like you said, even the Star Cruiser coming down and doing all that kind of stuff. It just felt really short for me.
Yeah, just things seem to happen quickly and be like resolved quickly. I mean, it goes back to the fact that Moff Gideon was only really in 1.5 episodes. It just seemed like he was there and then gone really quick. I'm sure you guys have heard like the rumor that
If he was a clone.
maybe he was a clone.
Because he didn't have a mustache.
That's right.
Dude, I saw that and I was like, you guys are so stupid.
They're like, well, Moff Gideon had a mustache. None of the clones had a mustache.
And the problem is that now that clones are, clones have always been a thing, but now that like a lot of people are doing clones, there's always going to be that question. Well, did he have a clone? Was he a clone?
Yeah.
Does he have clones elsewhere? Like, it's always going to be a thing. So
Well, and here's the thing. I feel like they've used him enough. He's been the villain for 3 seasons.
Well,
If you're like, hey, he's back in the 4th, it's like, no, we don't need him anymore. Like, bring Thrawn in. That's a bigger threat.
Yeah.
Moff Gideon is like, okay, he was cool for this, but
Yeah.
if they bring him back, I think it's gonna be kind of lame.
I wasn't even expecting him back for this 3rd season until obviously episode 6 or whatever. But yeah, I think it would be just cheap to keep bringing him back over and over again. It seems like they've defeated him at the end of each season, and then he just comes back. So yeah, I'd love to see someone new.
Yeah. I don't really think of him as a very good bad guy. Sue me for it, but I don't think he's that engaging and interesting. I think he looks.
You've been served,
His suit was
sir.
sick. The suit was awesome, and the base was cool, and the whole fight scene was cool. But I don't know. It's just it wasn't personal enough, in my opinion. And I think there's just kind of heart lacking in that last conflict where there should be heart involved.
Yeah.
And so, like, sure, Luke Skywalker coming at the end of last season? Mm-hmm. Sure. It's hard to differentiate nostalgia with heart and kind of like investment in the story. But it felt epic because that they were going to get destroyed by them, right?
Yeah.
That was an insurmountable amount. And this is what I had the problem with that one fight where I was like, it needed to feel insurmountable and just something they cannot defeat, but somehow against all odds, they figure it out, right? In that fight, Luke comes and bails him out. That's epic and awesome. But in this one, it felt kind of
You're talking about when Paz died, right?
yeah. Sorry, that was an example of, in my opinion, how not to do it.
Yeah.
But the Luke Skywalker, the last season finale was great because it had that tension and this wave of power that they can't overcome. But in this one, I was looking for that. I was looking for, he won a lot. He was kind of beating them up a lot, but there really wasn't that moment where I was like, oh shoot, like, oh man, we might lose someone. Like even when Din gets stabbed and Grogu was like, oh, or whatever, I still wasn't like in it as much, if that makes sense. I do like the dynamic between those two, and that was the highlight for me. And I felt a little bit in that fight, but in that moment, I should have, like, my heart should have sunk, because I think, and a lot of people thought that could be also on the table because of the Mandalorian being, well, who is the Mandalorian, and stuff like that. But it would have been high stakes, but I didn't really believe it. So that was something that was maybe missing for me in this. And it was too short, and it felt like they're kind of rushed things, and the heart and the tension didn't build enough because it felt rushed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Especially with where the last episode left off with Din getting captured.
Right.
And then just immediately it's just resolved.
Yeah, Grogu's just like, out of nowhere shows up. Yeah. Which I was like, how did you... Because Grogu was with the Mandos, and they left, and then I was like, how did he get back in? That was weird to me.
Yeah.
But even going back to kind of the fight with Moff Gideon, if I could change one thing about this, and
Han Solo comes in.
No, let's just ignore the fact that like bringing people in. But I'm just saying the fight to me seemed really quick, and what you're saying, like I wanted it to be more personal. The way he dies is just kind of like.
It's an
he
explosion
burns up.
death.
Yeah, I
Your
wanted.
favorite kind.
I thought it was really cool when Bo-Katan comes down and starts helping because Din's getting his butt kicked.
Yeah,
but I thought it would have been much better if Moff Gideon is just destroying even all three of them, and then Grogu, like in a moment where he's about to kill Din or something, Grogu like does something to push him back with the Force.
Achieves a new level of something. Yeah,
Din throws the dark saber to. Bo-Katan. No, to Bo-Katan, because she mentions the whole thing in the episode before, like I will defeat you.
Yeah.
And then she like cuts his head off or something. Or I feel like that would have been more personable. Like he gets killed with the dark saber, the thing he wanted. I know they wanted to destroy the dark saber to lift the curse, whatever, kind of play with that theme. But I'm like, that would have been a cool. I felt that would have been more personal, and felt better. Like, oh, they're getting beat up, and the three of them have to work together. They kind of did that with, like him shielding him, them protecting Grogu, and Grogu protecting them. But I was like, man, it would have felt better for me if they would have done that to take out Gideon instead of like him going.
I mean, he died in a very like passive way.
Yeah, so that's probably the one thing I would change, and that helps also with the length of the episode, because if you have a longer fight scene than going back and forth, I think that would have kind of felt a little better. But it just felt like once they started fighting, it was like, oh, that was really quick, and then he's dead, and then they're like, hey, we're moving on.
That's kind of the main theme of all this is going on, just too quick.
It's hard to because I feel the same way, but it's also hard at the same time to totally like say it wasn't good, because the fight scene and the choreography was actually quite good, and it was actually a fun fight to watch. Like I even enjoyed Grogu's little stunts and stuff, even though it's just a little puppet
just
guy
like pushing him around a little.
I like that. I really enjoyed all that interactivity while they were working together, using the Force to like save him every chance he could, and like seeing the little like slide and the Force pushes and everything like that was awesome in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was a fun fight. It just the tension, the stakes weren't there. But the end of it, let's talk about the end moment where Grogu basically they're gonna all blow up and be consumed by the fire, but Grogu holds that force field.
Yeah, that was cool.
Pretty sick. A little
good callback to first season. Kind of does that same thing.
Yeah, little Kanan.
And then what's his face?
Kanan action,
too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Kanan, but he doesn't make it.
He didn't make it quite do it.
Just
Grogu's a better Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, Grogu is 50, way older than Kanan was.
So yeah, I understand. I understand why the writers probably decided to at least change what the Darksaber is right now. I don't understand Moff Gideon's reason to do that though, because like just before he did that, wasn't he like, "Give me the Darksaber. I want the Darksaber," and she's like, "No," and then he just crushes it. Did I miss something, or like that just seemed like a weird choice for him to make?
I don't think he says give me. Did he say give me the Darksaber in that episode? It was the episode before where he.
I thought it was
asked
like
for it,
right in that like right when that was happening. He was like,
I don't
"Just give me
remember.
the
I know it
I
says
watched
it in
it
the
on,
link
like,
before, but
Wednesday.
I don't recall if he mentions it again.
I just think it was like, hey, if you're not going to give it to me, then you're not
No
going
one
to have
can.
it, you know? And I think in his mind, it's kind of like, Mandos are obsessed with the Darksaber. If I do this, it's going to like
She won't
hurt
be able to
them.
lead them. Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of his rationale, but obviously it's become more about the people than it has about the Darksaber. And I think that's kind of what they've talked about, the curse. Like Mandalorians have always been cursed. And I think the Darksaber is the thing that has kept them from uniting. So it's kind of like the curse has been lifted.
I guess I buy that from like the writer's standpoint or like point of view. I don't buy that from Moff Gideon's. Like there's nothing previous that like was shown that he was willing to do something like that. Cause like ever since we've like been established with him, he's always been just obsessed with the Darksaber, probably more than anybody. So I don't know. It just
Well, it's
seemed
because
like
this one was a clone and he didn't know about that.
there you go.
Yeah. He was
This all
missing
makes
the
sense.
mustache.
No mustache.
I think it's kind of interesting. Do you think? Let's just talk about the Darksaber for a second, because I think they were playing with that theme of like the Darksaber's gone now; it's not holding people back. Do you think the Darksaber will be reforged
Grogu
or
reforges
something? Or like,
Sure.
is there a Kyber crystal in there? Like, does someone have that? Because I think
It's technically cursed, so I think it's a cursed crystal.
Yeah, and so I'm just wondering if, like, do you guys think they're going to set something up? Because I do think they're setting up the Mandos to have their whole society back for a bigger thing. And I'm even wondering if this is something that we know the Rey movie is going to take place 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker. So I'm like, at that point,
Which is
like, I
quite
think that
ways
would be
away.
a pretty awesome thing to. I saw someone say this.
So like Grogu like reforge a new lightsaber with that crystal or something like that.
To
that
see
fits
like
in.
if Grogu shows up and he's like, what's going on? Like, is he the leader of the Mandalorians? What's like, that would be really cool. But the other thing I saw too that someone posted was like, it would be kind of cool. The first student that Luke trained was Grogu, and the last student that Luke trained was Rey. And so if they came together,
that would be cool.
that kind of has a good thematic story of like Luke was that was the first person he ever trained,
right.
and then Rey was the last one he technically trained before he gave up the ghost.
Oh, we get a little Grogu Rey
That's
romance.
crazy.
Heck yeah, let's go.
No, not
That's
that way, but
crazy.
like if they get it,
That's
like if
crazy.
if she's
I'm
building
shipping it, baby. I'm shipping
Whoa.
Regu,
it. Regu.
I think that would be cool. I hope, and I think they will. I think the investment in Grogu is obvious. That just everyone loves him. I think he is going to carry through to that level. Whether he is a main character or like a secondary, who knows? But he could totally be. I mean, how cliche it would be, but like the Yoda for Rey as guidance.
well, that's the crazy.
I know it's so obvious, but like,
but that's the crazy thing, though.
they live so long that
You've got
it enables that.
900 years. You can. This guy can be around for however long they want him to
Dude,
be,
I
and
saw
you've
it.
I
already
have to
given.
recast though.
You've already given him a backstory that everyone is on board
Yeah,
with,
and you get to see the
so
origins.
then you can just be like, yeah, he pops up in this, he pops up in that, like, and you can build
Yeah.
a universe around him that's kind of cool that they can do that.
I think that's my favorite part of this episode is the ends that they've opened up.
Yeah.
The Outer Rim. Oh, we're going to take care of the Outer Rim for you. Okay, Thrawn.
Yeah.
Yes, Grogu's very sensitive with animals. He's very good at calming them and being
The Mythosaur guy.
And guess who else is very good with animals as well?
Ezra Bridger.
Exactly. And so Ezra has more experience than Grogu, kind of, maybe. But that would be cool to see an interaction between them if they do cross paths in the Outer Rim. And that's what they're basically doing. They're setting up this Outer Rim situation, which I'm personally super stoked for. I want to see Ezra again. But yeah, I think he's here to stay, Grogu. I think so.
Yeah.
Din Grogu.
And I think they're setting
was
that
sick,
up
too.
for the Dave Filoni
Darth
movie.
Din Grogu. Oh, just
Like that's what they're setting up for that.
for sure.
The Dave Filoni movie is going to be like Grogu a little older, probably some time has passed.
Can you say a couple words, maybe?
I mean, he started to say it this season, you know, but I just think that's cool. It sets up a lot of things they can do, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, Ezra. They kind of had the little tease of him looking down into the waters,
right?
And then the mythosaur basically feeling him, I guess.
Yep.
So
I'm feeling you, bro.
I feel you up there. So I think, like you're saying, they've set up some pretty cool things.
That's the best part for me.
And I think season 4, if they do a season 4 of Mando, it's going to be more of like, hey, we're doing odd jobs, basically back to kind of the basics of Mandalore.
Dude, I think it's going to be like Batman and Robin vibes. They're just out there being vigilantes, like
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, just taking care of the scum.
Random references out.
No,
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, like Old West style.
Yeah, Old West style.
Because that's how Mandalorian season 1 was. Grogu's got the cure. Yeah, Grogu's got the cure. But I saw some fan art, concept art. You guys are probably seeing it too, where it's Grogu grown up, full legs, has a sick like robe, and he has this Mandalorian mask
with his ears coming out?
pop out.
Yeah.
But he's got the tusks of the mythosaur, and he's got a saber that's basically the dark saber, but in a regular shape.
That's what we needed in the season finale.
No, we'll see it. We'll see it later.
Star Wars theory, a guy that Star Wars theory. Anyways, he was saying something. A lot of his ideas are dumb, but one of the things he said that I was like, that was kind of cool. That was kind of a cool concept or something. But he was like, what if the Yoda species or whatever, that they have a moment where they like get angry or something, and they like kind of go Super Saiyan, and that's when they like evolve into like a bigger size,
like Pokemon.
Like basically, but it's like and he's like, how cool would that be if in the season finale like Din's in danger, and he's like like screams, and he's like,
and it just goes
gets all like he lets all his force energy out, and then he's like steps out, and he's got like a big like rip.
It's like My Hero Academia. The main guy goes boom, and he turns to this hugely muscular guy. Yeah,
that would be kind of interesting.
That'd be horny. But
this is the guy that gets upset when he sees screws, right?
Yeah.
There's no screws in Star Wars.
What?
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Oh,
he was watching Andor.
That's crazy.
And there was screws in the background, and he's like, look at those screws in the background, and that's just normal bricks. That's not Star Wars.
That's not Star Wars bricks.
Star Wars theory.
He said that?
Yeah, he got all angry. Like people were like, "Dude, you really upset about screws and Star Wars?" Yeah. Anyways, we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys really liked, or
another good part, the end, dude. When they
over.
No, when they do the circle thing, right? I love.
That was good.
I was like, I love that. I love it.
I thought it was. Yeah,
I love that crap, dude. Let's go, baby.
I think.
It looked like the end of a cartoon, you know? Like,
that didn't work for me.
I love
Porky
it.
Pig shop. That helped.
And he's like popping his head out of the circle. Yeah.
I think this season will benefit rewatching straight through, binging it,
Maybe skip one or
and
two.
being like, I know what we're not going to see, and I think it will do a lot better than having the expectations of is Luke showing up or this is all the other things. Because I think the core story that they told and that what they've revealed throughout the season and what we've accomplished at the end of retaking Mandalore, uniting the Mandalorians, I think all of that stuff is really great, and it sets up really good stories for season 4 or the Ahsoka show or whatever. But yeah, I think stripping away the expectations of what I personally thought the season was going to be, I think this season will benefit from it. Just watching straight through, being like, I know this is the story they're telling, and I think I'll probably enjoy it better. Which isn't saying that I didn't like it, but it wasn't my favorite compared to 1 and 2.
Yeah, it just felt like there was a lot of weird fat that didn't come to any conclusion, and it felt like a huge waste of time. I didn't really understand a lot of those spy sequences they did and things like that. Like there was a lot of moments where I was just like, we don't even have that much time to begin with, but we're investing a full episode of this.
Yeah.
And then and all this other time in other episodes that didn't really do anything. Sure, cool. If season 4 it all comes to fruition and it's like this grand master plan, he lined it all up and the stars align and it's a masterpiece, awesome. I'll eat my shoe. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be such an amazing foreshadowed strategy. So for me, it just felt like we didn't have a lot of episodes. They weren't as long as I wanted, and we had a lot of wasted time, which diminishes the overall main story with Mandalorian stuff. So that's kind of my take on the series.
Yeah, I think if they would have, that one episode that took place all on Coruscant, where they were like, we have to show that the Empire's still working and that the New Republic is kind of lame. They're not realizing that these people are still infiltrated with Dr. Pershing and all that. I'm wondering if they would have made the episodes a little longer and just had in every episode a few scenes that you're going back and forth with what's happening on Coruscant with these characters. I think it would have fit.
Instead of just dumping it
Instead of just one long 56-minute episode, have it interspersed, like, this is what's going on. Because they did that with other things. Like, you got the Teva who's going around. Like, he was in certain episodes. So I'm like, you could have had, like, what Din's doing with Bo-Katan, with all this kind of stuff, and then just going to, oh, this is what's going on, following the spy in Coruscant with Dr. Pershing. And then we get that final shot of her talking to Moff Gideon, right? If it builds up throughout the episodes, it feels like it's part of the story you're telling, but it just felt like it was one episode where they drop it all, and then for then later on to have drops about, like, what about Dr. Pershing's, research? And he's like, oh, it's lost. Like, it just felt like, oh, we showed you that.
Like, you did all
now
that
we won't
for
talk
just
about
that.
it until the end because Gideon has clones. I was like, if you would have interspersed it in other episodes, like, we're smart enough to follow along, like, okay, they're teasing something
it's
here.
called The Mandalorian, Jonah. Okay.
It's just crazy because I bet if you, like, broke down the amount of minutes the Mandalorian story and then that, like, I bet it's a big percentage of the whole, like, season.
Yeah.
I bet it's like 15% or something like that. Runtime wise, because that episode was very long.
Yeah, that would have been a much more, like, satisfying reveal too, with her being like, oh, like, you think this whole time she has
like, not an immediate reveal.
Yeah, because
over
I mean,
multiple
like,
episodes,
like,
maybe
like a bunch of other things in the season, it was just kind of over too quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they had built that throughout the whole season, and then you, like you said, you have that turn at the end, she talks him off Gideon, I think that would have hit a lot harder.
Yeah, like if they would have done, they can do the same reveal, right?
Yeah.
As far as, like, where she destroys his brain and she eats the bar. But if that happens, like, at the end of episode 6, and then the start of episode 7 is then her talking to Moff Gideon, you kind of know, like, oh, shoot, I thought we knew something was going on, but I didn't know that. Do you know what I'm saying? I just feel like, again, that's thinking back, and it might have not worked if I'm watching and I'm like, them going back every episode to stuff might be like, oh, I don't want to watch this again. So it might have not worked, but I just feel like there's something that would have been better than just having one episode.
Just like any show, though, like with Andor specifically, they do that. They jump around to different characters that are on different planets, and at least for that show, I think it worked. And if they write it in a very, like, cohesive way, it could work. And I personally think that would be a better idea than what we got.
But think of Boba Fett when they would cut back to what's his face, and it was showing, like, the day to day of his life and stuff like that. I don't know. It just feels a little weird to me, but yeah. Did you like it, Josh?
I think this is the smartest thing you've ever said.
Wow.
I think that
we had to wait for the season finale. Here we go, baby.
No, I think you're right. I think having that, and even if you have, like, the very first shot of the new season is on Coruscant, you kind of establish, hey, we're going to be going back to this character, and then you can go back to to Din and all the other stuff going on. But yeah, I think that slow build up, just a couple scenes here and there, split that one episode over across the whole season. I think it would have worked better for the reveal at the end. But yeah, also people might have just been like, I didn't like that. I don't like that part.
Yeah.
And then they're upset on every episode instead of just one.
Yeah.
And it does seem that they would rather commit to full episodes, like how they did it in Boba Fett, where they had the Mandalorian just kind of take over for a little bit. It's like they're more, you can tell that their strategy is more tuned to that. I wonder why. I wonder what their justification is. Maybe it's because of that. people might complain every episode about, oh no, back to the lame stuff.
Course. Yeah.
It might even be
Maybe.
It might be even be logistics of shooting stuff. Like
Maybe.
we've got different directors for every episode. They're got to do like then you have to think about continuity.
Writing-wise, that's true.
All that kind of stuff. Like what were they like? It's a bigger headache, but I think it makes for better storytelling as opposed to
for a season.
right.
Yeah.
The other thing I liked was at the end, when all the Mandalorians are together and they restart the forge. That was a cool shot to see them all together, but then also to see Axe Woves, the spy, and it looks like he's
very committed.
Yeah, he's next to
Ragnar Vizsla. So it's like, oh, is he taking him on as his apprentice? Like that's kind of a cool concept, especially since they had that scene where they're they don't see eye to eye. They have that little tussle there. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. Just kind of a little quick shot to be like, oh, is he like setting stuff up with not like spelling it out to you, but kind of just teasing little things. I think that's when Star Wars is at its best, when it lets you kind of speculate. Yeah. Like the spies, like everyone spent so much time speculating who the spies were. It's like, not really anybody. Yeah, nope. But I just think that's when Star Wars is at its best. I think that's what they did with Rey in The Force Awakens, that the way that made Rey so kind of unique and special and people liking her in The Force Awakens was because like, who is she related to? What's her story? Like this whole mystery behind who she was, I think really got people excited. So I think when anytime Star Wars is able to do little teases like that, it's a good thing.
Yeah. So we wanted to do a score for the season?
Sure.
What you'd rate it?
I'd probably put it probably like a 7.9 out of 10 for me.
7-8.
Broken Dark Saber. What's it called?
7-8.
Dark Saber? What's it called? Yeah.
The Black Saber.
My gosh.
7-8 pirate garden beards.
Okay, nice. Nice. What about you, Mick? Josh, you have an idea?
It's 8.4 spies.
Yeah. Who knows how many spies there were?
I'm going to do 7.5 Jack Blacks.
All right.
I will say this.
Right.
I will say one of the reasons, because it's probably my least favorite season, but one of the reasons is I thought the music wasn't as good as it has been in the past, and they didn't have Goran
Ludwig.
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 I don't. This girl, the person that did.
He's his understudy. It's something Shirley. He did Book of Boba Fett.
And Loki, right?
I don't know.
No? Okay. Anyways.
I don't know where you're getting that.
I just felt like the music didn't hit as well. And they used some of the themes, but I was like, there's something... Certain people have a certain way of using music at certain moments that fits really well. And I just felt like it didn't give me those chills that I get with other people. And I feel like the last two seasons was just way better as far as like the musical moments. I think the Kiner brothers, who do all the animation stuff, they do a really good job of that. And this one just felt a little off. There wasn't a moment where I was like, oh, when the music hit. So that's where I also feel like that was not up to par with the other two seasons. But
fair.
I've got our predictions.
Okay.
I have not gone through these.
Oh.
So this is what we're going to do. If you got it wrong, it's a -1. Okay? If you got it right, it's a +1. So you guys, I'm going to tell you, you just lift a finger up if you got it right, and then if you get the next one wrong, so at the end we'll see who has more fingers up.
Okay.
Well,
Are you going to remind us what we said, though?
Yeah, I'll go through.
I don't remember what I said.
Question number 1, will Luke show up? Mick said yes.
Oh, crap.
Josh said yes. I said yes. Corey said no. So right now...
So
Corey's at 1,
-1,
and we're at -1. Okay,
it's an unforgiving system.
So Ahsoka, we all said yes.
Dang.
So give yourself a 0. Now we're at negative. We're all at -2. Okay, Corey's in the lead right now with 0 points.
Yeah, let's go.
Sad.
Boba Fett. Mick said no.
Put
Give
me
yourself a
down for
point.
-3.
So
Corey
-1.
said no. Give yourself a point. Josh and Jonah, we're at -3.
Let's go. Baby.
Okay, Thrawn. Now, Name
No.
drop?
No.
No, we said
doesn't
he had to
count.
show up.
Yeah.
Mick, give yourself a negative point because you
Dang
said
it.
yes.
I'm back down to
Corey,
-2.
give yourself a point. Josh, give yourself a negative point, and Jonah with a no. So I'm going to 2, baby.
Negative two.
Negative 2. Rex, we all said no. So everyone gets a
negative
point.
one.
I'm at -1, baby. Sabine, we all said yes.
scheisse.
So everyone get a negative.
-2.
-2. Satine, you all get a point.
Heck yeah, dude.
And I get a negative. So I said yes. So I'm
Negative
-3.
Bro, that's crazy. That's such a crazy.
Yeah. Well, it gets worse. Snoke. No. Yes, I'm at -4. So you guys
baby, let's go.
So let's.
I'm at -2, baby.
Okay.
I'm at 4.
Corey's at 4. Mix at 0.
Negative two.
-2, and I'm at -4, baby.
Literal
But I'm
opposites.
making a comeback here.
Okay.
Cad Bane, we all said no, so give yourself
baby.
a point. I'm at 3, baby. Oh man, Gunji, Gunji, give yourselves all a point. I'll take my negative.
I'm back to 0, baby. Let's go.
I'm at -4.
Dang.
Will we see who saved Grogu? Everyone said yes, so give yourself a point.
That's a good
-3.
We're smart.
That's a good
on that
call.
one. That was a good call.
Who saved Grogu?
Ooh.
R2 and Quinlan Vosses. So give yourselves a
Yeah.
negative.
I should have said Jar Jar.
Oh, you would have been
Technicality.
technically right.
give it to
Who will die? We're all wrong. Mick said Grief. Corey said Bo. Josh said Grief Karga, and I said Bo-Katan. So
-1.
I'm at -5. What? I'm at -5.
Literally,
What do you
I'm at
got?
5.
5.
One.
1.
-1.
-1.
Oh,
Okay.
you're so close.
That last one dropped me down.
Who is Christopher Lloyd playing? We all got this wrong.
Oh,
Mick
man.
said a droid. Corey said a Mandalorian.
Josh
pretty close.
Josh said Babu Frick, and I said a Mandalorian. So
back
I'm
down to 0.
at -6. Will
Oh, yeah,
hey
negative
okay?
one, right.
Will Din lose the dark saber?
Lose.
Mick at the end of the season, Mick said he would have the saber. Give yourself a negative. Corey said no saber. Give yourself a 1. Choop said
Austin one?
saber. Give him a negative.
Take it.
And Jonah said no saber. So
What are you?
back to 5, baby.
-5.
-5.
He says just 5,
That's
but it's
crazy.
actually negative.
This is so bad.
Han Solo.
Is it bad?
Give yourselves all a point. I'll take my
Oh,
negative.
good. All right.
I'm at -6.
That's crazy.
Any Bad Batch characters? Mick and Corey get a point. Josh said Gonki, so get your negative.
Unlucky.
And
dude.
I said Omega, so I'm at -7 now.
I love it.
Okay,
dude.
so the bonus for a point. Mick said Unkar Plot. Corey said Tar Vizsla. Josh said
I wish.
Black Chewie.
Oh, we get -1 on this. Is
And then
this a negative? Okay.
no, we said a bonus.
Just a nothing.
And I said Ben Solo. So
Oh, dude, what if though? You know,
and
would have been.
Did you imagine that great season?
imagine that?
the 19th question was
Griffith?
my first question was if Grogu was gonna have armor. Does it count?
Yeah.
His thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so Mix gets a point.
Oh, good. I said yes.
Corey gets a negative.
Dang.
Josh gets a negative.
No, it doesn't count.
And
He never wore it. He never wore it.
And he had it on.
No, he didn't.
And I get a point.
What are you talking about?
Wow.
Drum roll.
Wow.
I got a -6. Sea Dog.
Positive
6.
+2, baby.
+2.
-4.
-4. So, yeah, we are.
Opposites.
If we were in Stranger Things, I'm the upside down, bro.
Oh, true.
Wow. So,
Who would have thought? I just had to say no a lot.
Yeah, it's like next time that's what I'm gonna do. No negatives.
Yeah.
yeah, well, that went in the wrong direction. You know,
Good
there's
job,
an
Corey.
alternate reality. There's an alternate
Thanks,
reality
guys.
where they love fan service and I win these in a landslide, but
It's literally
not.
just.
Not it here.
If Star Wars theories making Star Wars, Jonah
yeah,
would be
one
right.
day.
Yeah, it's just
but
cameos.
just wait for
every episode.
Ahsoka. Just wait for Ahsoka because I feel I'm going to get
wait.
a lot of
Oh my god.
a lot of things.
It's where crazy is right.
Yeah.
They're gonna be going back in time. Back
I
to
wonder
the
if I'll
future
ever
stuff.
win one of these.
Yeah,
No,
for sure,
probably
for sure,
not.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
Probably not.
Who won the last one?
I think you did.
If I coached
you guys tied.
we tied.
Yeah.
If I coached you, you'd probably be okay.
Guys,
I just need to tone you down a little
I'd
bit.
rather just go.
I mean,
all
there's
out,
nothing on the line, so it doesn't matter.
I know. Maybe we should put something on the
Just
line.
pride.
Maybe we should make little trophies.
Yeah,
You know,
we
for
should
the winner. Like this one should have been a little.
You know what, Josh?
I'll print you one. Bro.
3D print some. I'll paint them. I'll paint them.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can find a Mandalorian trophy on there.
Yeah, we should do that, and then I'll just
Okay,
do
next one, Ahsoka. You're gonna have to do something related to Ahsoka.
And I can paint them gold, silver, and bronze, and then someone just doesn't get one, and they feel terrible.
Loser.
So me and Mick will be taking our past first places.
Yes.
You know.
No, we
Put it
don't
on
go
the
into the
list.
past,
Well,
guys. We only live in the future. There's a new idea. Is there anything
Ahsoka,
else?
though. Back to the
I
future.
will say there's some stuff that came out that was like, oh, they changed the ending. Originally, Boba Fett was supposed to be in it, but they did cutbacks but I don't think that's
knows?
true. Tamir Morrison said that he's like, I was expecting a call. They never called me. I was supposed to be in it. So I'm like, that means they never even filmed. They never even filmed anything. So people saying like, oh, they changed the ending. I was like, no. He also said like, well, Disney's like they did a bunch of cutbacks, and so that is the case. They fired a bunch of people, laid off a bunch of people. So that might be another reason too. It's like, hey, we have a certain budget for this. Can we get Mark Hamill to come and do some deep fake stuff again? That's probably pretty pricey to do all that.
Yeah.
So I think that might be a reason too.
That's why
It's
Luke
like,
didn't come back.
or Han,
like,
Han.
or Harrison Ford. It was like, we have it already.
Yeah.
We filmed the
They should've
scenes.
just used
we had the Millennium Falcon
Indiana
overhead.
Jones footage they have.
That's what I'm saying.
Just literally
That's
just
why,
splice
the same
it in.
stuff.
that's
just put
why
them
I
in there.
thought.
But they designed the shots around the perspective of the shot, so it makes it fit perfect.
and they're like,
Genius.
Why? They're like, maybe we can have a Han Solo show up and he has a whip.
Yeah, he's
like,
no,
wait,
no,
wait,
he's got
have a
electro whip. Electro whip.
She just finds it. Oh, there it is. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I think.
I don't know. I'm not buying that.
Yeah. The next show that's coming out is Visions. Comes out May the 4th.
May the 4th.
And they dropped the
Yeah, some of these look pretty cool.
they dropped the runtimes of the episodes.
What do you
They're
got,
all
5
pretty
minutes?
short.
Yeah.
They're all pretty short.
10
They're like,
minutes,
I
12
think-
minutes.
I think the longest one is like 14 minutes or something like that.
That's what it was the first
And the
season,
rest
though.
are like 7,
Yeah.
between 7 and,
Dude.
12 minutes.
Yeah. It goes to show you how hard animation is. And
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Yeah, I think they've started dropping posters. So
Yeah, dude, those look sick. Some of them look really
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, I'm super excited for it. The different styles look really cool. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll just drop there's a little few things like just in news before we end the episode.
Sure.
The poster for The Witcher season 3, which is Henry Cavill's last season of The Witcher, dropped today. It looks kind of interesting. It's basically just Henry Cavill and I can't remember the names now, but the mage girl and the
Greta,
The other girl.
No, I'm just kidding.
girl he's
Yeah.
taken care of.
Yep.
The trailer drops tomorrow, so we'll get our first look.
Cool.
I'm kind of like,
When's that supposed to come out? This summer
I think so.
or fall or something?
I think it's in the fall, but I'm kind of like out on it. I'm like, this is Henry. I mean, Henry Cavill's
let's
left
support
because
him.
he's not
Let's
excited
support
for
him, and then we dump it after he's gone.
Yeah, so
Send a message.
So it'll
bro.
be interesting.
That's what we do.
They've dropped some TV spots for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Weird. Some
That are
weird
weird.
stuff. The jokes are. I mean, I would say
James
that
Gunn.
it is James Gunn style. Yeah. Not a fan, but
So
I heard it's the best one of the trilogy.
to each their own, man.
we'll see. The other
Good luck, bro.
thing this weekend is the Full Circle Zack Snyder event where they're going to show Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Illuminati.
We will
Full circle Illuminati.
kind of find out if there's any hope for it to
It's not
continue
triangle, it's a
anywhere.
circle.
So we'll see. I'm excited for it just to kind of see.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's going to be a lot of the cast coming back for those
Yeah.
screenings, and they'll be showing the Q&A section of that every day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on Vero. You'll be able to find it and follow along. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be pretty cool.
You guys can come over to my house if you want. We can set up a pentagram, maybe do like some sacrifices to try to summon
Melt some candle
The
wax
Snyder
on the
Cut.
floor.
the Snyder full trilogy. Yeah. No, hey, if there is anything, okay, what do you guys think? Will there be any information of
None whatsoever.
additional content from the
This
Justice?
is what they're going to say. They're going to say, "Yeah, we're done. This is it. It's full circle." But you never know what can happen. And that's how it's going to end. And
he's
they're
gonna be like, no, he's gonna say
infinite.
a circle is infinite.
And then they're going to go,
Oh yeah, yeah. And then
never give up hope, never give up hope.
Oh yeah.
Could be.
Sounds believable.
Of course
honestly.
it is. He's got to keep the. He's got to
loves
keep you.
it.
He's got to keep you guys on the leash.
100%. He needs people to watch his new Moon.
Well,
whatever.
I
Like,
think
you watch
the
Rebel
people,
Moon.
Rebel Moon.
No,
Maybe.
I think the people that are the Snyder fans are going to watch Rebel Moon. They're excited for it anyway. So
Yeah.
the group that's going to be there, he doesn't need to sell Rebel Moon to them. I do think it's going to be a little interesting, because there are rumors that the people that are in charge before James Gunn came in, they were moving towards restoring the Snyderverse. And that's even some of the stuff that Zack Snyder has said, that when he dropped teases about stuff, is because he was in contact with them and they were like, yeah, we're doing this. When James Gunn came in, he was like, no, I'm not doing that, and cut all that stuff out of The Flash. But those two people, I can't remember their name, Abdi and someone else,
Costello.
they're still working at WB Discovery. So
yeah, but they're not.
Zack Snyder, when he said, like in an interview, he said he thanked them. He's like, because they're the ones that greenlit this. They're Warner Brothers, and them especially are allowing me to do this
Event.
So I just think if there's a way where they can sell the rights to Netflix to be like, hey, you can finish 2 movies at Netflix. That might be something. If Netflix is willing to pay a certain amount, WB needs the money. And obviously the movies they're releasing now are not making money. Shazam lost money. The Flash might make money, but
It's gonna make money.
Do we really think that James Gunn's movies are gonna make WB money when they're doing The Authority, Creature Commandos, Booster Gold, a Waller TV show? Like, that to me is like, are these gonna get
Cash money,
mainstream audiences to go watch a movie? Superman Legacy might, but
Yeah,
I'm like,
I think it
the
will. I think that
other
will.
movies you've put in your slate, Swamp Thing, like, are people excited? Is Swamp Thing gonna
I
make
did
a
some
ton of money?
research for 5 minutes. I was like, dude, get me on. Let's go. I'm on board. Swamp Thing.
They're saying it like a horror superhero
Yeah.
rated. I'm like, if you're looking for general audiences, Marvel money, those aren't the movies you're going to do it with. So anyways,
Sorry, I'm sorry, being sarcastic.
all that
I'm
to
not.
say
I'm
is
not
I
at
think
all.
if WB is like, hey, maybe we just make some money off him doing these on Netflix while we have our other stuff. So anyways, we'll see.
Sure.
I'm kind of just excited to see what.
just I think it depends on how desperate they are for money, I guess. Yeah, because I think overall, I think someone might look at that and be like, oh, letting Netflix have Superman, Batman, old versions that people really like would be a foolish move to like create a competitor. But it depends on how desperate they are for money, is what I'm trying to say.
And the difference is you're not really competing because the Netflix movies won't ever release in theaters. So it's not like a direct. And the other reason too is if you're not using these actors, there's no plans for Henry Cavill. You already got rid of Wonder Woman.
The Flash guy.
Yeah, but the movie ends resets the universe. So you could recast him.
Oh. But he plays himself.
Right. But WB even announced before when he was going through all his legal stuff is like
it's sketchy.
He will not be in the Flash anymore after this movie.
Okay, he's done as the Flash.
I don't, unless that's changed, unless people really love him in this, but I can see them being like, yeah, he went to another universe and now the Flash is a new actor.
What about Jason Momoa is going to be a different
Jason
character.
Momoa, they're saying might be Lobo after Aquaman 2 is done. So
Not going to be so confusing for people.
I don't think
I don't
think they thought
Fast and the Furious movies.
they didn't think about. They didn't think it
His
through.
like robe. Because he is such a great Aquaman. He's like the best Aquaman, obviously. I mean, there's not much competition. But it is going to be weird to have him as a different character.
Well,
I think a lot of people are going to be mistaking him.
Well, this is the crazy thing.
Kind of strange.
Because I think James Gunn came in, they gave him the keys to everything, and I think he made a really big mistake. When he announced his slate, it took all the wind out of the sails of Shazam and kind of the Flash. So people didn't go. They're like, what's the point? You're resetting.
Yeah, but was it really that exciting?
But here's the other thing. Well, So I'll just talk from my perspective. I wanted to go see Shazam because I liked the first one. When James Gunn announced this stuff, I was like, there's no way I'm watching this in theaters because there's no future to this. This isn't going to connect. I'm kind of debating whether I'm going to go watch The Flash in theaters because they've already said they stripped out all the
I'm going to watch it.
the Snyder Cut stuff.
I'm going to watch it.
So for
sure.
me, I'm like, I think there's a lot of people that are in that camp where it's like, am I interested in this? The other thing too is Aquaman made over $1 billion. And they're already talking about recasting him as something else and saying like we're changing the movie so that it's done. Like this is his last movie. I'm like, you're running a franchise that was $1 billion franchise into the ground just because you want to stay away from any connections to Snyder stuff. So that's weird to me.
Wasn't it because
that you would
he
make that
requested
choice
to play Lobo? Didn't he say, I really just want to play Lobo?
No, well, he said he wanted to play him, but I'm like, he's Aquaman. Like, you don't need to put Lobo in the DC universe. Like, how many Lobo fans are there?
I know, I'm just saying, since there is a reset.
Me,
Right, but I'm just saying, like, you're basically running
the space bike.
like the one movie that made money for you.
I mean, he
That
made that
people
choice
loved
to reset
Aquaman.
everything.
That to me just seems like a little strange to make that decision.
Yeah,
and we'll
I mean,
see
resetting the universe is also a decision that's very bold and could be foolish, could be good. You never know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yes.
So is that this weekend? You said
That's this weekend. When does Guardians of the Galaxy come out next? In 2 weekends?
2 weekends.
yeah, 2 weekends.
Yeah. So tomorrow the Flash is screening at CinemaCon, so we're gonna get a bunch of. If you don't want spoilers, probably stay off the internet because a bunch of people will probably spoil that.
Don't even go near.
You got
Don't
a
look
month,
at it.
A month wait. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else you guys want to discuss?
Rumors now that John Boyega is going to be in the Rey movie.
Oh yeah,
No, that's true.
I
Yeah.
heard that too.
Yeah.
Which didn't he like swear off Star Wars?
Yeah, but they said, hey,
like,
but here we'll give you a
freaking-
lightsaber. You'll be a Jedi. He's like, okay, I'm back. You got me.
All right, can I pick the color like
Yeah.
Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson?
Jackin.
Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently there was some burying of hatchets with him and Kathleen Kennedy.
I mean,
That's what the rumors are.
check it. I mean, if someone
Check
comes out to me and says, hey,
it.
I know you don't want to be in a Star Wars movie. We'll give you $10 million to be in the next one. Okay, well, let's bury that hatchet.
Yeah,
like,
that'll do.
come
it.
on.
Yeah.
Like,
That'll
what
do it.
other
10
movies has he
million.
been in
Oh,
since? He was
Oh,
in
that's that.
Pacific
Woman
Rim
King.
2.
nothing I could think of.
Pacific Rim 2, he was in, right?
He was in The Woman King, and then he was in another movie about a cop. I don't know.
Yeah. So I just feel like
And he was one of the minions on the Minions movie.
in this economy, if you're like, hey, I'll give you $10 million to be in the next movie,
I
like,
would-
hey,
I'd bury that
You'd
hatchet
what?
multiple times over. Yeah.
and then give me a lightsaber.
Man, they give you $10,000. You'd do it. You'd be in a
Oh, yeah.
freaking
Heck yeah.
Star Wars movie.
I do it for
No,
I do it for
don't say-
$500.
Don't say that.
I'd bury the hatchet for $500 to be in a Star Wars
Redacted.
movie.
Redacted.
But
But
anyways,
50,000.
and then
He would take a what color lightsaber would you like?
Gold to match your hair.
Flame
I don't know. I feel like I'd want to go with like a dark saber, like a dark color. You know, like a black or like,
like a literal.
how about a gray? How about a gray saber?
Okay,
no
that's
gray
kinda
saber.
lame, but yeah,
Gray?
That's fine.
Yeah, but with like some blue accents in it around it. Like,
So
So a blue
Sick.
lightsaber.
a
No.
gray with blue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Something cool, something that's different.
Gross. All right.
Maybe it'd be a lightsaber
tie-dye.
boomerang
So you know
that
how
I can
the-
just throw.
How about a polka dot one?
you got to be Australian for that.
A lighterang.
You know the dark saber is like black and then it has a white glow. I mean, you could do that where you could like have a
Black
inner,
with a red glow.
sure,
No,
something
black
like
with a
that.
green glow.
Yeah, something like that.
I like it.
Oh, well, speaking about customizing your lightsaber, Jedi Survivor's coming out in like what this weekend?
Yep. This
that's
weekend.
true.
The 20 something,
8th.
28th.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm gonna play it. Like I said before, I'm gonna try to stream it online. So watch out on socials. If you guys follow us, I'll post it when I'm live.
You have a Twitch?
Yeah, I have a Twitch.
Yeah, what's the name of the Twitch?
It is called Great Dragoon. All one word, Great Dragoon. And it's
Double
on
O.
Twitch. It's on Twitch, double O.
Spelled the way it sounds.
And yeah, I'll play it out. And I honestly, this is how they sold it to me. The fighting style, like the stance styles that they added, and the sheer customizability of these lightsabers. I saw a like spot on it dude, you can literally customize every bit of it. Yeah. It's so cool. I was just like, that's so awesome. I just want to do that. So that's going to be super fun. And they're adding way more lightsaber colors, and you can customize the backside of it. It's not just like the stock that he had, broken one. Now you can do all these different ones. It's really cool.
Nice.
So look out for that. That'll be fun. That'll be super sick.
Sweet.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week's episode. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'll be back next week. We don't know what we'll talk about next week because Mando's done, but we'll find something.
Definitely talk a little bit about Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, Jedi Survivor, and then we'll see what else there is.
We might play a game or something. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Just make sure you come back, and thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out, and see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.